Pickles in a sandwich is a game changer. Stop buying store-bought jars of pickles. I'm going to show you how to make zucchini pickles for this price, and let's get into it. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to Sam Kitchen. My name is Sam Lin. I am a home cook who's really passionate about sustainability and, more importantly, save money by making things at home, and hopefully I can help you guys do the same in your own kitchen as well. This week's recipe, we are talking about we're going to make pickles. Zucchini at the moment happen to be really cheap. One of my local grocery store is selling them at 9 cents a kilo, 9 cents. So that is just a perfect opportunity for us to make some really delicious pickles. Zucchini or cucumber, they are all really common ingredients. The meatiness of zucchini is what I really like. It takes on the flavor really well compared to cucumber, who offers more of a crunch. Zucchini, in my opinion, works just as well. It feels really weird to be holding an object like this. I'm going to put it down. Pickles is just a really great companion to a lot of the food, the acidic nature of it, and then that slight sweetness that comes with it. Perfect for sandwiches or to like your meaty, that kind of meal. Really just lift it up and becomes a bit of a refreshment in your meal. So one of my favorite things to be able to keep in the fridge, and more importantly, making your own pickles. The cost is so much lower compared to the store-bought ones, which a jar can cost you, I don't even know how much a jar costs you these days. It's been at least 2-3 years since I bought some store-bought pickles, so one of these can last you for a very long time. That's what she said. Anyway, before we get into the recipe, if you can smash the like button down below here, it would really help my channel out tremendously. Enough of my talking, and let's get cooking. To make pickles, we're going to need a few ingredients, and I will be categorizing them into 3 different categories, from essentials, pickle and brine, and the spices and whatnot. In our essential category, we'll need some zucchini or cucumber, whatever floats your boat, or whatever is cheaper really. On top of that, we'll need some onion. In the brine category, we'll need some vinegar and sugar to give it that sweet and sour flavor. In the last category here, you can add in some garlic for some garlicky flavor. Next up is some mustard seeds. It's not butter pickles without some mustard kicks. Optionally, you can also add in some mustard powder for that iconic yellow color. Black pepper or herbs such as dills are really good ingredients to add to pickles as well. So that is a bit of a spread of ingredients. The first 2 categories, being the essentials and the brine, are less flexible, but you can be creative with the spices based on what you have at hand. With that out of the way, we'll put these aside and get started. First thing first, with our pickles, we're going to prep our jar. The type of pickles we're going to make is good to be stored in the fridge for a few months. To make sure no bacteria is going to ruin our pickles before we eat them all up, we need to sterilize our jar. The easiest way to do that is to boil the jar in water. Grab a pot that is big enough to submerge your jar, bring it onto the tap, and we'll load it with water. You can either load it all the way up to cover the jar, which will take more energy to boil, or I just fill it halfway and rotate the jar a few times to make sure that all sides are sterilized. Make sure to boil your jar for at least 10 minutes to kill all of the microorganisms. Once done, take the jar out and leave it to cool down on the side. While the jar is being boiled on the stove, we can be cutting up our zucchini and onion at the same time. There's no real trick to it. It just comes down to how thick or how thin you want your pickles to be. Get rid of the 2 ends of the zucchini, and always make sure to compost our food waste for our environment. I like my zucchini pickles to be a little bit on the thicker side, so I cut it into 2mm thick slices. See? If you just buy pickles off the shelf, you are letting them decide how you like your food. Once they are all cut up, chuck them in a bowl so we can make space to cut our onion. With our onion, I'm doing about half an onion to 1 zucchini. It just brings that extra crunch and spiciness to pickles. I'm a big fan. Cut the onion in half. Get rid of the tougher outer skin. Into the compost box as always. The trick to slice onions really thinly is to cut it with a really sharp knife. Use the back of your finger to guide your knife and just let the knife do its thing. Once all cut up, we'll chuck them in a bowl with our zucchini and give it a rough mixy mix to combine them together. Next step, we're going to load them into our jar. Pack them in as much as possible, but I personally wouldn't stack them tightly because we still want the gaps in between to let our pickle brine flow through. Don't be shy and just pack it in. Now we've got our jar loaded with zucchini and onion. We're going to use a scale to figure out how much void we're going to be filling with vinegar and water. We want to fill the jar about 3/4 with vinegar and top up the rest with water. Here, I'm repurposing the leftover hot water from sterilizing our glass jar. Rather than just pour it straight down the drain, it is still perfect for usage like this, or cool it down to water your plants or make some tea with it. So altogether, we've filled the jar with 381 grams of liquid and 250 grams of that is vinegar. With about 380 grams of liquid in total, we want 12.5% of weight of sugar added to our pickle brine. To do that, we're going to pour the liquid out into a saucepan. The beauty of using the reverse measuring method is that we can make the exact amount of brine and nothing is wasted. Add our desired amount of sugar into the saucepan. With our liquid and sugar combined, next thing we're going to do is to boil the whole thing and dissolve our sugar. Put the saucepan on medium heat and stir to dissolve the sugar. Once the solution is brought up to boil, I added in some mustard powder as well as some mustard seeds. Next thing to do is to bring it back to the zucchini and we'll pour the hot liquid into the jar. If you've left the solution boil for a tad too long, you might need to top it up with some more water to make up for the loss of liquid. At this stage, you can decide what additional spices you want to add to the pickles, whether it's more mustard powder, pepper, or for this instance, I'm going to add a clove of crushed garlic. Crush it like how your middle school teacher crushed your hopes and dreams, and add it into the jar. And that is about it. Label your pickles and give it a date so you know when it's made. I normally like to leave it out for about 24 hours to let it marinate faster before putting it away in the fridge. It can be stored in the fridge for a very long time and trust me, it'll disappear before it goes bad. Though it's been a couple of days since our pickles jarred up, it's literally one of my favorite things to add to sandwiches, which is exactly what I'm going to make for lunch. I've got some homemade sourdough which I lightly toasted in a pan, some leftover roast chicken, some Lacto fermented mustard we made a while ago. The recipe is in bio if you haven't checked it out already. Spread a healthy amount of mustard on. Spread on some chicken. Salt and pepper as always. Last but not the least, our zucchini pickles. It is so thick and meaty, I love it. And that is a gorgeous looking sandwich. The cost breakdown is as below. 500 grams of zucchini at 9 cents per kilo equals to 4.5 cents. Even normal price at $2.50 a kilo would still work out to be about $1.25. 250 grams of vinegar at 60 cents per kilo equals to 15 cents. 1 gram of mustard powder is about 6 cents. 1 clove of garlic is about 5 cents. Altogether, 500 grams of pickles costed us 30.5 cents to make. Supermarkets charge $3 to $5 for jar pickles. No jokes. Alright, and there we have it. That is our pickles done. You obviously can swap out the zucchini with cucumber and get the same results or for a crunchier kind of texture as well. And I can't think of a better way to be able to preserve food like this, and also take advantage of when food is on super duper special. 9 cents per kilo. The entire zucchini that I put in here was about 500 grams, and this cost you this much, and have nothing else to say but really encourage you to try this at home. It's phenomenal, and if you are a fan of pickles, this sweet tangy kind of flavor really just adds so much to all of the food, like sandwiches, like wraps, like whatever. I made a sandwich just over here earlier for my lunch, and I'm going to dig in and just let you know how it tastes like. The richness of the roast chicken works so well with the tanginess, the sourness, as well as the sweetness that come from the pickles, and the extra mustard flavor and the onion that put in there really just added additional spiciness to it, and it's really good. This is a standard workday sandwich for me. Whip it up in the morning, whether I'm going into the office, and then just chuck everything in, put it in a sandwich bag. It's so easy to do. If I'm working from home, just put it on. It takes like 10-15 minutes to make, and it's a really tasty, but at the same time really nutritious lunch for any day. Anyway, I'm going to get back to my lunch. Thank you so much for watching. I really do encourage you to try this at home. It's so easy and it's so versatile as well. Thank you so much for watching, and if you really enjoyed the video, make sure you give it a like and consider subscribing. I have a new video coming out on a weekly basis. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.